feeling coming off of regionals and headed into nationals?
Oh gosh, mixed bag there. Lots of good stuff, but then definitely some damaging stuff as well. That regional concept is definitely interesting at best. We escaped for the most part, but then we definitely had some casualties with DeMarcus Simpson, with Hannah Cunliffe, with the 4x1. We left a good bit of points there and I'd be remiss if I didn't say Sam Prakel as well. I thought that guy was definitely going to do something big here in the 15, the way he'd been racing all year. So it is what it is. Everybody had to run. It wasn't unfair to us or anybody else. It's just an interesting concept that kind of hurts those stars and those big time kids that are anticipating doing well at the NCAA meet.
Have you ever? Oh, sorry. Have you ever seen a team that maybe you've coached or been a part of that has had stars kind of go down right before such a big meet?
Yeah, it's always something. It never fails. Sometimes we get out of the thing unscathed, but this has probably been the biggest piece to where it affected us as far as all the people that we expected to get through that did not get through. But every year is somebody, whether it's us or somebody else. But those kids should definitely be at the national meet if we were on the descending order list. And if I'm assuming that if you go and do the studies that the kids that are supposed to be there are the ones that are penalized, and there's probably very few stories to where people that were not supposed to be there that are at the national meet. And to some degree it is the national meet, and if you do what it takes to get there, you should be rewarded for being able to participate in that. But I see both sides of the fence, but it's definitely, I think there's a better way.
Finn's always been quite critical of the regional concept and wanted to go to a descending order list. I've never heard you be quite so vocal about that. Would you like to, now that you say this happens to people every year, now it's happened to you, would you like to see maybe the other divisions do just a strict descending order list? Would you like to see the Division I level do that?
Yeah, I think that we had a system that was in place that worked very well for many years, and then of course we changed it whatever number of years this is for the regional system to be implemented. I also think that the indoor system is pretty flawless, and it's also pretty fair. Everybody has an opportunity to be there in the top 16 in whatever event it is, whether it be the top 24 or the top 32 at outdoors, I think would be appropriate, and then to bring those kids to Eugene. And then if you wanted to give those Cinderella stories an opportunity, maybe you could put some kind of rule or some kind of policy in place to where the conference champion or something like that gets to come to the meet. I've heard 1,000 different ideas, but any of them would be probably better than just having to continue to be competing an extra 2 weeks.
Is there? Go ahead.
Before you left for Austin, you were talking about obviously you wanted to have the strength in numbers and get as many people back to Eugene as possible. And obviously, in some certain situations with injuries and whatnot, you didn't do that. But do you still feel confident, like you guys did do enough in Austin to feel good heading into the NCAAs?
Yeah, I think we have a very good team, both men's and women's side. I think that we're talented. We on the men's side, we probably don't have quite as many bullets as we would like, based on those people that I just mentioned. But this also gives our younger kids and some of our seasoned kids an opportunity to step up and be better than they would. We've kind of always had that next up man mentality there, and this meet will be no different than any of the other meets that we ever go to. It played out at the conference meet, it played out at the regional meet, and I'm sure it'll play out to some degree here at the NCAA meet.
Are you paying any attention to I know you don't like to say that you're paying attention to the form charts, but they've been consistent. They've all got your women's team dominating. DieStat, Flow Track, Track and Field News. How do you feel about that? Do you like going in with that kind of target on your back?
I don't necessarily mind too much the target because you're at Oregon. You're going to be a target whether you're 50th or if you're first, just by being here, and that's something that we welcome because we are blue collar in nature and work for everything that we get. But there's probably one out there that would probably disagree with you. Lance Harder goes out and says that everybody has a chance now, including the Razorbacks. So maybe when he gets here, you should ask him that question and see if he wants to stand by that statement there. But he definitely said that this makes the meet a lot closer. I like to think that regardless of what happened there at regionals, that we're going to go and compete really hard here at Hayward Field and hopefully put on a show for our faithful.
Several athletes have said that you don't talk to them about the Triple Crown, but it's obviously the elephant in the room. What is that like for you?
No, it's here now, so we're going to talk about it probably ad nauseum until the meet goes here. Something that's never been done. That's always special and unique in its own sense, and we're up for the challenge to try to do that. It's it's kind of awesome in the sense and of the way of being. Out of all the programs in the country, we have a chance at little old Oregon to be the first. There's been some fantastic coaches to coach on the women's side. Terry Crawford, I happened to see her while I was there in Austin, and she made reference to the task ahead. And I was like, I think my reply to her was, hey, if we can put our name beside or in the same sentence as your name, that'll definitely be blessed and something special that we'd be able to try to accomplish.
Coach, on a different note, why do you deny interviews for student athletes and instead of letting them pick whether they want to do interviews or not?
I don't think that's accurate.
Okay.
Going back to the Triple Crown talk, what's the conversation like of trying to balance that, realizing if they just take care of the one race, that it means obviously bigger things for the program in terms of just what that accomplishment can mean.
Say that one more time.
What's the balance of having the conversations with your athletes of obviously they know the Triple Crown is there, but there's a little piece they need to take care of first and focusing just on that before the bigger picture.
Yeah, it's one of those things to where oftentimes we can get ahead of ourselves. There's no need in looking at the end goal when you have this practice here that you're trying to get to and you can't accomplish that. So it's just a focus thing. Not that it's taboo or it's any of those things. Obviously it's out there and we're trying to achieve that and trying to be the first to do that. And now that it is here and it is the week of that goal or that next step, I don't feel any issues or any problems thinking